Since Genshin has not released drip marketing for the Pyro Traveler, I thought,
fine. I'll do it myself.
we are going to be predicting with a high degree of accuracy the Traveler's Kit. This information is already widely available online, and so we're going to talk about what it does in very, very simple terms, because Genshin descriptions are extremely convoluted. And based on the kit analysis, we're going to talk about what teams are going to be happy that this character exists, what teams that he's going to be used on, or she, and talk about whether or not you can skip the Pyro Archon and just use the Traveler instead. Let's get into it. Welcome to Jello Impact, where we build and test every single character to help you decide who you want to wish for and build. So normals do nothing. At C6, they get Pyro Infusion, crit damage bonus, which is pretty nice. There's nothing to complain about there. I don't think that this playstyle will be very good. I don't think you'll be wanting to use them as a main DPS. I don't know if I will test it. We'll see if like the multipliers get buffed at all, if anyone is having any success. I don't want to waste a ton of talent levels leveling a normal attack. I really wish talent levels were shared among the different Travelers. I really don't like that I have to re-level everything. If I didn't have to, I would just, 10 everything, or at least 9. But because you have to do it for every single Traveler, it's just a lot of resources. The skill gives Pyro App, which is low damage, once every 3 seconds. 20-second cooldown. Ouch. This is overall a bit disappointing. I mean, at least it is some form of off-field Pyro app, but every 3 seconds, for comparison, Dea and Toma are once every 2.5. So that's not great. Low damage, it's kind of whatever. 20-second cooldown, same as Xiangling. And if you're looking to improve teams that currently use Xiangling, having a shorter cooldown is one really nice way to do that. Having the same cooldown as Xiangling is extremely disappointing. If I were to change one thing about this, I would make this a 16-second cooldown, and I would actually be very happy with the Pyro Traveler's Kit. As I was recording this video, I realized I got my wish. Hoyoverse actually reduced the Pyro Traveler's cooldown to 18 seconds instead of 20. This means that I think they should be an upgrade for Raiden Chevreuse teams, and will actually be better than the Pyro Archon in those teams. If they somehow let the Traveler work with Mulanni, again, I still think that the Pyro app will be too slow, then the cooldown will also line up better than Xiangling, and this does help Kenich's rotations as well. So overall, 18 seconds is actually a pretty solid buff, and it does make me quite a bit happier with the Traveler's Kit, so that's great. Burst is I already forget. It does okay damage, and Ascension is just like convoluted whatever stuff. It doesn't really do anything to truly affect the Traveler's Kit. Like, it's Night Soul stuff and whatever. So one good thing, so the saving grace, of course, is the Cinder City artifact set. That's really nice. The fact that the Pyro Traveler can hold the Cinder City artifact set and fully utilize it makes the Traveler already potentially worth playing. And all of a sudden, even with this being meh, with this being lame, and with this being whatever, all of that is out the window because we can use the Cinder City artifact set. So I kind of want to go through all the characters and talk about where we might be able to find some use for this character. Okay, so we're going to do our usual little teammates tier list. I really like these because it just helps me kind of brainstorm all the different teams and helps me come up with some more off-meta stuff, whereas if you don't consider everything, then you usually miss some creativity. So mostly looking at how they go with supports. I don't think there's any reason to use this with characters like Diluc or Noelle. One thing to keep in mind is versus Xiangling, you don't have to use Pyro Traveler's skill inside Bennett's circle, increasing Bennett uptime. I don't think that that's ever really relevant. Maybe it's a little bit relevant in Raiden teams. I'll think about that. Keqing, I mean, maybe in overloaded teams. For Ayaka, the Pyro app is really way not even close to enough to ever consider vaping. Not even close to enough Pyro app for Childe. I'm kind of feeling like Childe will always be tied to Xiangling because Xiangling is like doing the damage in that team and not, yeah, I don't know. I don't think there's any reason to use them in Klee. Albedo, no reason to use it with Hu Tao. Eula, Yanfei, Rosaria, it's not enough Pyro App to melt. Just like, it's like, think about It's like, okay, maybe with Dea and like burning, but no, because Dea actually gives interruption resistance. So no, you just use Dea, and Dea is free. No reason to use with yoimiya. So for Raiden, I think it'll be like a decent alternative for Raiden Chev teams, because one of the biggest problems with Xiangling is the cooldown. So the 18-second cooldown really hurts Raiden teams, actually. Like the 20-second cooldown. You really want an 18-second cooldown. And one thing you could do is use Pyro Traveler first in the rotation, and then do your other setups, and then for the second rotation you could use the Pyro Traveler a bit later in the rotation. So you'd have two rotations with you have two shorter rotations. So between the, like, obviously Pyro Traveler will do a lot less damage than Xiangling, and that's one of the things about Xiangling on a Raiden Chevreuse team, is that Xiangling does a lot of damage because you don't have to build much ER for Xiangling, because you have Bennett, Chevreuse, or at least just Chevreuse and Raiden. If you don't use Bennett, if you're using Sara instead, you're still at least getting... Xiangling does lots of damage on that team because you don't have to build too much ER. But the problem with Xiangling is the long cooldown on her burst, and she always has to be used after Bennett. But Pyro Traveler, maybe you can use him earlier on in the rotation before Bennett, so that might make him a decent teammate. Maybe if they buff him, he could be a best in slot teammate, because you're getting the Cinder City buff is the big thing, right? Maybe me, who has C2 Raiden, maybe there's a chance it will be best in slot because you're just giga buffing Raiden. That would be kind of interesting. But I'm not going to be that hopeful. I'm going to put him in decent teammate for now. There's just not that much. So yeah. Ito, no. Yai, I mean... You can we'll put in maybe fun, because you can also use it in Chevreuse teams as well. But, you know, there's no particular synergy with Yelan or Ayato or Shenhe. I mean, Overload Sino isn't my favorite already, but maybe it'll be kind of fun. No reason to use it with Wanderer. You have Toma, who provides a shield. Risley, I mean, it'll be a decent, like, burn melt thing with Risley. Moika will be so much better. No for Gaming. Could be, like, an okay teammate for Navia. Cinder City, like, buffing. Like, it could be okay. Maybe it'll be this. I'm not confident that he'll be a great teammate for Raiden. I don't want to be too hopeful. Alhaitham is a no. Chlorand, I wish, but Chlorand really needs the shorter cooldown. You can't even burst every rotation without Xiangling without losing a ton of damage. You have to burst every other rotation, use Guoba every other rotation only. So, yikes. Linny, like, yeah, it'll be a decent teammate, I guess. Chevreuse overloaded stuff, because you can build Pyro Traveler on EM, right? Baiju, I mean, Burgeon might be fun. I'll put Baiju and Nahida up there. I guess Burgeon might be fun with Traveler, but it seems like it should just be worse than Toma. I think Kinich might be the best use case, because you can put Emily on Deepwood and Traveler on the Natlan set, and and like the Pyro app doesn't really matter, and so it should be like just a good day alternative. Like, it still won't be as good as Moika, but it should be solid. Arlecchino, nah. I mean, nah. I don't think so. Don't really see any reason to do Novelette. I think Pyro Traveler with Emily just in general might be good, like Cinder City buffing. Maybe I'll put good teammate, and then we can put Emily here. I mean, it's kind of just like, Cinder City should buff Emily too. This is like, yeah, this should be part of a good team. No particular synergy with Farina. I'll put Chevreuse here just to, like, represent most of these decent teammates are Chevreuse teams anyways. And then I'll move Raiden up to good teammate. Good seems more acceptable. Chaska, there doesn't seem to be any reason to use with Chaska. You already want to use Bennett as your Pyro. Mualani, it might be okay, but I don't think so. I hope that they increase the frequency. I hope that they reduce the cooldown. It's basically in all ways a disappointment for Mualani. I don't think that there'll be enough Pyro app, especially in AoE, and I don't think that the longer cooldown will be worth it. I just think overall, just stick to Xiangling, which is sad to say. And yeah, so overall, you know, Kinich mains are winning. They have a free to play option. Other than that, they seem like disappointing. But I do want to say, okay, so like obviously I realize how I sound, right? I've been sounding pretty disappointed as we've been talking about this, but we do want to keep this in context. he is still providing, or she, the Cinder City Natlan artifact set buff. So, you know, maybe all these characters that seem not good, maybe because Cinder City is so broken that all of these characters actually, well, not Eula, but maybe a lot of these characters, you know, would actually not mind Pyro Traveler. Like maybe it's actually pretty good because Cinder City is just such a bonkers artifact set. And maybe they're like only like great with a couple characters, and like even Raiden, you shouldn't even say great, but maybe they're only good with a couple of characters, like really good with proper synergy. But maybe because of Cinder City, like it's actually pretty decent for a lot of characters. Like maybe all of these are decent, maybe these are good, and maybe these are great, and maybe, you know, I don't know. It's kind of like Keqing, like really cheap to build. You can just throw the Cinder City set on. I think the disappointment comes from like me and a lot of people seeing how good the MC is in Star Rail, especially the Harmony MC. It's like enables new team comps. It's like Hyper Bloom the character, and it would be nice to have like a good Traveler for once, because Traveler, such a broken character in lore and such a cool character in the story. It'd be nice to have one version of Traveler that was actually good. And for me, with them holding out on releasing the character for so long, it'd be nice to see them like be really, really good. So at least they hold Cinder City, and that should make them a pretty viable and pretty free-to-play friendly, flexible support. But their kit itself is just disappointing. But because they're an Natlan character, they may actually be quite flexible and quite universal. So I wanted to adjust this after realizing that the cooldown is only 18 seconds instead of 20. The thing about Clorinde, I think I'm going to move her up to Decent Teammate because it's still a longer cooldown. Clorande's burst is only 14 seconds. The skill is even less. So this cooldown will still be too long to really work with Clorinde. Clorinde will really, really want Moeka, and I expect Moeka to be a huge upgrade for Clorinde overloaded teams. Keqing, it didn't matter because she can already refresh anytime. Same with Yai. I think that this should help Arlecchino. Also, I'm going to move Wanderer up here just because Cinder City is a broken buff, and so, I mean, if you can go shielderless, it'll still be a solid option for Wanderer, probably, just because Cinder City is so broken. I just want the kit to do more than just be a Cinder City bot, you know? But I think mostly this affects Raiden. I think this might be like a best in slot for Raiden Chevreuse now. Like, I don't expect it to be amazing, but it should be better than Xiangling. Like, you lose the damage of Xiangling, which is definitely relevant, but having the cooldown match up better and also buffing Raiden with Cinder City, like this could be best in slot for Raiden Chevreuse team. That's pretty cool. It won't be as big of a buff in Chevreuse teams as Clorinde gets from Moeka, but it'll at least be something. But yeah, this should be better for Keqing as well because he also has an 18-second cooldown, so that lines up better. Overall, it's just a nice little buff for basically all the teams, because basically no one wants a 20-second cooldown. 20 seconds just extends the rotation of everyone. So everything I said before stands the same. It's just that most everyone's a little bit better. So, you know, let's wait and see. Let's wait until some calculations come out. I haven't seen any calculations on Pyro Traveler yet. So I wanted to get my thoughts on what their kit was and kind of how we can think about it. Burgeon teams, burning teams, maybe some overloaded teams, and maybe Mulan teams. And then we'll test and see. I'll be testing them with probably all of these characters, and we can see how cope or how good it really is. So let me know your thoughts. Make sure to subscribe. Check out the Tactor articles down below to enter the giveaway. And if you don't want to do any of those things, that is totally fine. Just watching the video has been more than enough. Thanks so much. Bye for now.